Kabul drone strike, which killed 10 civilians, including children. Tragic mistake is what they're saying now. We're going to definitely need to unpack that. So, of course, you remember the Afghanistan debacle. I mean, if you want to call it a debacle. It's been a 20-year debacle. 20 years in the making. This has just been a cluster in this region. So a drone strike last month, you remember, killed what they said that this was the drone strike that was answering the suicide bombing. That's what they said. Now, it was a rush job. They were under a lot of pressure. So Friday, U.S. apologized for what they call a tragic mistake. The Pentagon said that the August 29th strike targeted an Islamic State suicide bomber who posed an imminent threat to the U.S.-led troops at the airport as they tried to complete the last stages of the withdrawal from Afghanistan. So they said that they had intelligence. You know, we constantly hear about the intelligence that they had, right? Said that they had the intelligence. We constantly hear about these experts. They should have known what was going on. And if you don't know, then you don't do it. But constantly, there is mistakes, what they call collateral damage, with these drone strikes. And a lot of times these drone strikes, which were improperly done, innocents killed, this is the type of things that further radicalize folks. This creates this vendetta against whoever the victims were and the U.S. This is the kind of incompetence that furthers tensions. So anyway, you remember seeing and hearing about this. So this was, I mean, the results. But what we have is haste, trying to respond to pressure that was going on. The Biden administration definitely wants to separate itself from Afghanistan and put that in the rearview mirror. This, of course, making it hard. Rushing to be wrong? I don't believe in rushing. Right? I do not believe in haste decisions, especially when we're talking about life and death decisions. We have a crisis of incompetence. These are supposed to be the people that are supposed to know what they're talking about. So without taking the proper time, and they followed this vehicle around what they said 8 hours. They thought he was putting hazardous materials in the vehicle. Turns out it was water. Turns out it was canisters of water. But they just had their mind. Now they're like, oh, we're so sorry. This is what worries me about some of the rushed medicine, some of the rushed vaccines that's happening. Oh, well, this was the intelligence that we had at the time, and we thought we were doing the right thing, and now it turns out we were wrong. That's why you got to take your time when you're doing things that are life and death. Got to take your time. So this drone strike, it really reveals some uncomfortable truths. Even as reports of civilian casualties emerged, the top U.S. general said that the attack was righteous, right? They thought they had the right dude. No, you didn't. You did not have the right dude. And we have got to stop being so quick to make these decisions. These are the U.S. drone strike victims. And as you can see, a lot of kids there. And yes, times of war, it is a sad thing. but it does happen. And this incompetence is not excusable. Well, it's war, stuff happens. The U.S. head of Central Command, Marine Corps General, said that at the time he had been confident it averted an imminent threat to forces at the airport. That's what he wanted to believe. So, I mean, if you got a hammer, I guess everything looks like a nail. The U.S. often is unsure about who will die. They don't even know. And another sad thing about this is the Biden administration, which I will commend them for coming forward and admitting this mistake and owning it. The Trump administration wouldn't do anything like that. Actually, back in October 2017, Trump abolished an Obama-era approved system in favor of a looser, decentralized approach, which gave the military and CIA officials the discretion to decide to launch drone strikes against targets without White House approval. A policy like this, of course, reduces accountability for drone strikes. And that's what this is all about, isn't it? Accountability. Who is responsible when these mistakes happen? Who is responsible? So after President Biden took office, he halted the counterterrorism drone strikes without White House approval and initiated a broad review of U.S. policy on drone use. Okay, that's fine, but now that places accountability, at least includes the White House in that line of accountability. I thought that it was quick for them to just say that they had somebody in sight. So anybody in sight, you just kill somebody. They were under pressure. The airport was a debacle, and they needed something to have some good news reporting, and they did that. And for a moment, you did have some good news reports. But now the smoke has cleared, and it turns out that they were wrong, deadly wrong. Deadly wrong. So, as I said, the Trump administration really tried to take away some of that accountability. Back in 2016, President Barack Obama signed an executive order requiring annual accounting of civilian and enemy casualties in U.S. drone strikes outside war zones, areas outside of active hostilities. And it set a deadline of May the 1st each year to release such reports. Trump, as I said, designated large areas in Yemen and Somalia to be areas of active hostilities, thus exempting those areas from disclosure. So, you know, what they consider to be wartime areas and stuff where we have a lot of things going on that are involving hostiles, they don't want to talk about that. Trump administration also ignored the 2017 and 2018 deadlines. And on March 6th of 2019, he just revoked the requirement altogether. So war zones. Since 2016, Congress has enacted legislation separately requiring the Defense Department to release annual reports about bystander deaths from all of its operations, including strikes inside of war zones, such as Syria, such as Afghanistan. So as you can see, it's a lot of back and forth, double speak, things that could be confusing. I do commend the Biden administration for accepting the blame, it was coming out anyway. And in this day and time, it's really hard to hide things. In this time of social media, it's really hard to hide these things. So it was going to come out. It was going to come out. It was coming out. So they accepted what was the obvious. I do commend them for that. But at the same time, I got to slam them for buckling under pressure, making hasty decisions, and not being sure. So they're talking about giving reparations or some type of money to some of the families of the victims. I guess, but that doesn't bring back the folks. You're going to have people that are angry. And what can you do in this time? Here's what you can do. Be sure next time. These are supposed to be the experts. These are supposed to be, the ones who know what they're doing. Supposed to be. So if you are the ones who know what they're doing, act like it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, at The Diamond K Show, at Radio on Fire. Of course, I am here daily, 8 a.m., giving you my spin, my take on the top news stories of the day. And of course, we have some sponsors that help us do this show. If you need a flyer, Flyers on Fire is where you go. They can design a quality digital flyer for you in 24 hours. If you are promoting something on social media, Flyers on Fire can help you brand your message with a quality flyer. Visit them on Instagram at Flyers on